Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Juliana Marie with G Marie Nails, and in today's masterclass we are going to be going over a fill and design. So stick around so you can go ahead and see how we accomplish this beautiful design while fulfilling a traditional fill. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, like and comment. Now let's jump into class. Today we're going to be doing an acrylic fill on these duck tips. We're going to be taking off the gel polish first, and then we're going to be reshaping the duck tip. So let's get into it. So to remove your gel polish off of your acrylic application or design, you want to use a ceramic or a carbide flame bit with coarse grit on it. I'm using a ceramic coarse flame bit, and the motion that you're going to be using is an up and down motion. So I'm just basically like a scraping motion, up and down, up and down. And let me show you guys closer. So down, up, down. Okay, so you're not, or you can go from up and down, or you can go from side to side. Okay, but those are the two ways that you kind of want to keep your drill bit steady on the finger, so that you are not cutting your client or you are losing control of your drill. I'm going to show you guys again on the second finger how I am holding my client's hand steady, and then I'm going up and down, and basically it's like a scraping motion, removing all of the gel polish off of the acrylic nail. Do not ever use this bit on your natural nail or your client's natural nail. This is not meant for natural nail because it is coarse. It is meant for removal on an enhancement. So I'm going to speed up the rest of the nails moving forward, because you guys know what it is I am doing and what you should be doing for removal. So here I'm trying to eliminate the lifting that happened on the side of her thumb. And so whenever you see lifting, you want to make sure that you drill off the cracked pieces so that water doesn't seep in as you apply your new acrylic application, and then it creates greenies underneath. So you want to go ahead and file away all of the lifted parts. So it's like the super thin acrylic that's on the sides. You'll usually be able to see it, and you can just go ahead and nick it off with your cuticle bit or with your drill bit. And remember, all of this is being used on a low speed. Okay, when it comes to the natural nail, you want to be using a low speed. On an enhancement, you can use a greater speed. So now I'm going to take my cuticle pusher, and I'm going to push back the dead tissue that is lying on top of our natural nail plate. Okay. My client in particularly has psoriasis, so she always has a lot of buildup. So you might see me like here a little bit more vigorously pushing back, but my client is okay. It is not hurting her. But if your client has sensitive nail beds or doesn't have much to push back off of the natural nail plate, they keep up with their skin, it's supple, it's moist, you don't have to vigorously push back the dead tissue off of the natural nail plate. Okay, now I'm going to take my football cuticle bit, and I'm going to go underneath the epinecium area, and I'm going to continue to do my natural nail prep, which is removing the dead tissue from the nail plate and what's underneath, what's sitting underneath. And I really like using the football bit versus the circular spear bit. Even though they're both good, I like to use the football bit because the little point at the end lifts up the eponychium area and allows you to get underneath and kind of just gives you more nail plate to work with, and it eliminates all of the crusties underneath. So I'm going to be doing this for the remainder of the hand so you guys can see what I'm doing. And again, I'm on a low speed and I'm just going ahead and I'm opening up and removing all of the crusties. Again, my client has psoriasis, so there is more removal that I have to do versus someone who doesn't have her condition. Continuing with natural nail prep, I'm going to take my mandrel bit and I'm going to put on my 240 sanding band. A 240 sanding band is one of the less coarse grit files or buffers for a sanding band. It is very fine, and that's what you want to use on natural nail. 180 sanding band is also okay. It's a little bit more medium fine. I just love using a fine grit on a low speed on the natural nail plate as always, because you don't want to eliminate or damage the natural nail plate and take off all its layers, because we don't have many layers on our natural nail plate to begin with. Okay, so I always want to keep the natural nail maintained under the enhancement. Okay, that's the purpose of the enhancement. That's the purpose of having acrylic nails or having Gel X or anything like that, is that you maintain your natural nail underneath, like a protective style for your hair when you get braids, wigs, weaves, extensions, those type of things, right? You're protecting your natural hair underneath. So it's the same thing for the nails. Again, I am just going around and cleaning up and making sure I remove all natural oils from the nail plate, just like I would if I was doing a full set, right? So this would be me removing all the natural nails and all the natural oils off of the nail plate. So if you've done your natural nail prep correctly, you should have pushed back and cleaned up everything that needed to be pushed back and cleaned up, so that when you take your cuticle nippers and you go across to pick up the dead cuticle, you are just picking it up. You're not having to dig for it. And I hope that makes sense. But when you are pushing everything back with your cuticle pusher, and you are removing the natural oils with the sanding band, and you use your football bit or your cuticle cleanup bit to push back and remove all of what's underneath the epinecum area, you are essentially making a groove in the nail to lift up and lift out everything that needs to be removed. So I can just take my sharp edged cuticle nipper and go across and grab and remove what it is I need to remove, instead of having to dig for it and try to lift it off of the nail plate, etc., etc. And I don't know about you guys, but I love me a good cuticle pull. Look at that. Beautiful. So I'm just going to be continuing this for the remainder of this part right here. So I'll just speed this up for you guys. So of course, before we start acrylic application, we need to be using a dehydrator, and we also need to be using a primer or a bonder, okay? So I'm using Macart Pro's brand, and I'm going to start off with using the dehydrator first. And I'm going to dehydrate the nail plate. I'm not dehydrating the acrylic area or the plastic tip area if you were doing a full set, okay? Primer and dehydrator only belong on natural nail. So I will go across the nails once, and then I'm going to take my bonder or primer, which is the same thing, and I'm going to go ahead and go across that once as well. Now, if I was doing a full set, I do go across twice with my primer. That's just a personal preference of mine, but you can just do one and one. Now I'm going to be using Macart Pro's Cover Color in Tawny Rose. This is a really, really cute color, but my client wanted something a little bit more on the pinky side, so I mixed it with Rose Petal. She didn't want super pink. She wanted something dark nudie, giving like a little bit of fall. So I just went ahead and mixed the colors in another jar and created like my own little color, and I think it came out very pretty. That is the result. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend it in with the remaining application that's already here from the previous cover color, and I believe that it's gonna blend perfectly, which ultimately it did. And so yeah, okay, so now let's get into filling 101. So when you place initially your cuticle bead, when you place your cuticle bead, you never want to place that bead right at the cuticle line, because all it's going to do is flood over, and then that's going to cause for lifting, or it's going to cause for a thin acrylic application at the top. It's not going to adhere correctly to the natural nail plate because it's on the skin. Okay, here I'm just adding a little extra coverage because her nails have been on 4 or 5 plus weeks. So this is essentially a rebalance versus a fill. But technically she's not too overgrown out, so it is a fill, okay? So I'm going to take my cuticle bead and I'm going to place it right where the old acrylic meets the natural nail. And then I'm going to push it up towards the cuticle like you guys seen me do when I placed the first bead, okay? Now that we are all done with our acrylic application, we need 2 files. So I'm going to take my 100 over 100 file, which is a medium grit file, and I'm going to use this on the acrylic because it's new acrylic per se. So I don't want to etch away too much of it using a even higher grit, which would be an 80-80 grit, which would be more coarse. I do love an 80-80 grit feel though, okay, but I'm going to be using a 100-100 grit today. And so when you are using your files, please make sure that you are holding back those lateral sidewalls, which is the skin on the side of the client's nails. You want to hold those back to make sure that your file is not scraping up against their skin, but rather scraping or pushing up against your thumb or your finger, okay? So you don't want to harm the client. So I'm just going to be going for duck tip. I'm going to be filing at the angle that it is, but I'm going to leave that little C curve for my sanding band. I'm not going to file that because it will just straighten out if I file it straight across. So I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to wait till I get my sanding band and go back over just to sharpen out that deep C curve at the bottom. So yeah, I'm just going to speed this part up for you guys, and then we'll get to the C curve. Now here I am going to smooth out the top of the acrylic application to make sure everything's smooth, there's no lumps, dumps, bumps. I like to manually file. That's a preference of mine. I do not use my e-file for this, but you can either use a medium coarse bit, fine coarse bit, or a sanding band. I prefer to use my manual file. It just does something to the nail that satisfies me so much. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I just feel like I worked hard for these and I built these nails, okay? Like, baby, look how smooth they are. Look how I created this whole nail with hand filing. It's just a personal preference. I've been doing it for the 8 years that I have been a nail technician, and I'm going to continue to do it. So, yes. Alrighty, so now that we're done with our filing, we're going to take our sanding band, like I said before, and we're going to carve out this deep C curve that makes our duct tip, okay? So I'm just going to go through on a bit of a medium speed, not too low, not excessively high, on a nice medium speed, and I'm going to carve out and reshape that duct tip at the bottom just to give it something more, because it dulled out, of course, over time, but she's been using her nails at work, at home, etc. So we just want to reshape that. And again, using the sanding band files it for me and buffs it for me and still gives me the look I'm going for, versus me using a coarse bit or me using my actual manual file. Because like I said before, if I was to use the actual file, it wouldn't have fit in the groove. I wouldn't have got this smooth circular motion I'm going for, or I would have had to file it straight across, and that's not what she was trying to go for. She likes the deep C curve for her duct tips. So that's what we're doing. And yes, I'm just going to speed this part up for you guys, and then we're going to get straight into design. So it's my client's birthday, and of course she wants pink nails. So we're going to be doing pink nails. I got this color from Nails Bling Supply. It is NB100, and it is a very cute color. Very vibrant pink. Love that. Very Barbie. So we're just going to be applying this onto her nails in a French type of way. She wants a French, but a funky French, okay? So it's giving very much, I didn't want to be basic, but I want to be basic with a twist. So, yeah, we just took her French tip all the way up to the top, and then kind of like did these little wonky lines with it. I guess it's not necessarily a French tip, but I just consider it one because it gives very much, we're doing a French babe. So yeah, I just take my liner brush, and I do use the longest liner brush. I want to say it's a 0.05 liner brush, and that's the way I love to make my Frenchies. Mind you, I didn't always use the long liner brush. I was intimidated by it for a very long time. And I got introduced to using it for the Frenchies, and it did make my life a lot easier making Frenchies. So I love using the longest liner brush now. Like, yes, chef's kiss. So yeah, I'm going to be going ahead and creating these wonky Frenchies, and she wants some crystals on her because, of course, it's her birthday. Every birthday girl wants a little bling on their nails. So once we get through this, we'll get to the gem application. I'm going to be using Nails Bling Supply Stone Gel as my 3D element in making these wonky French tips pop more. Give it a little bit more of something, and I definitely could have used something else to mix this with, but y'all, we just had to do what we had to do at the moment, okay? So I'm mixing together the 3D gel with the polish that I already applied to my client's nails so that I can make an outline of the French tip. And she wanted a 3D effect to outline it, which I thought was so cute, so, different. So we're going to just go ahead and do that. And of course, trust the process, babe. That's all you have to do sometimes is just trust the process. Now we're going to be applying her stones. I just love to put together a collective of tiny, medium, and larger stones together when I am doing like a full nail blinged out. I don't like to use one dimension. Multiple dimensions cause for it to just look very glamorous, and it looks less plain. It looks less monotone. There's dimension to the sparkles and to the nails. So that's exactly what we're going to do here. I'm going to trace out a French tip with the gemstone glue, and then I'm going to place my stones, starting from small at the top and then starting to just place small, medium, big, small, medium, big, to make them fit kind of like Tetris until it looks good, until you like it, and it all fits perfectly together, and you have a perfect full blinged nail. Remember, you guys, that doing nails is all about creativity. Okay, if you are doing nails, it's because you have some creativity inside of you. So don't think that you're not an artist, okay? Sometimes being artistic is built in you. Sometimes it has to be taught, but it's because you're a creative, okay? So when you're creating these type of things, don't think of it too tediously, like, oh my God, I just can't, I don't know how to, I don't think like that. How do you make it's just place it. Just put it on. What looks good to you, and if the client gives you full range, do what your heart desires of, okay, I'm going to place this gem here, and if I place this one here and this one fits with that one, that's how you want to look at it. Be creative. Let your creativity shine through. Creativity is not robotic. Okay, so we can't do the same thing that everybody else is doing all the time. Okay, there's not a rhythm to it. You create your own rhythm, and you just bump to the own rhythm of your own music. All right, so like me, I like to place big stones, little stones, big stones, little stones, medium stones, all together to collectively create something that I think is so pretty, versus a whole bunch of tiny stones on one nail. Unless my client requested that, I'm gonna do it my way, and they usually love it that way because it just gives that, oh my gosh, I have so much going on. The bling is blinging. It doesn't look one-dimensional. So that was just a little bit for me to encourage you guys, to let you know that you don't have to be this super artistic, hand drawing professional for you to be a creative. Okay, you're in this field because you are creative. So let that light shine, and practice makes perfect. Okay, great. So yeah, I'm just applying, like you can see, I've been applying, layering and layering and layering till I get what I think looks great as a full Frenchie on her blinged out nails. And of course, I did the same thing. Everything I did to this hand, I did to the opposite hand. And yeah, I think it's coming out really, really good, actually. Okay, we have come to the point of the video where we are done, and we are now about to top coat. This design looks so good, y'all. We ate down. So I'm going to be using Macart Pro's Ultra Glass Top Coat to cover this entire set. Yes, I am going to go over everything because this is not a matte set. She wants glossy. So we're first going to go over the gel polish, and then I will go over the top of the acrylic. And I try to separate the two just so it doesn't look bulky, because if you add a thick layer of top coat, okay, top coat will make your acrylic look bulky depending on the viscosity of the top coat. Okay, so you always do want to start off out with a thin layer and then gradually make your way up. But look at the shine on this. Amazing, immaculate. Give me 14 of them. Gotta love Macar Pro. Okay, so I'm just gonna be going across, and so yeah, I'm just top coating and I do not, disclaimer, I do not apply top coat, base coat, any coat on top of the stones. You will take away and remove the shine from the stones, and you do not want to do that. Okay, you want to cover up the sides, cover up the bottom, and of course the part that the stones are not on, but do not touch the stones. Don't fully cover them. They don't need that. Okay, at the end of everything, you can just take a little lint-free wipe with some alcohol or acetone and go across the stones and watch them dance. Okay, period. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and continue to use my top coat, have her go in for 60 seconds under the lamp and cure. And then I'm going to apply her cuticle oil, and baby, she's going to be done. She's going to be put together, ready for her birthday. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video today. If you made it all the way to the end and you did enjoy this video, please remember to subscribe, like, and comment, sis. I would love to hear your feedback, love to communicate and talk with you guys, okay? Like, I don't know anything if y'all don't talk to me. I really, truly admire and love the support that you guys show me. If you don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is gmarienails as well, so you can go ahead and follow me there. And if you're into lifestyle content, I also make that and have a YouTube for that. So you can follow me on The Only G Marie as well. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys at the next masterclass.